Hello students, welcome once again in the video lecture series designed for you class 12th students. In the previous chapter, we discussed concepts related to a firm's production function and cost curves. Today we are starting a new chapter, the theory of the firm under perfect competition, chapter 4 of your first book. The focus of this chapter is different. Here we ask, how does a firm decide how much to produce? Actually, every firm intends to produce and sell that amount in the market which maximizes its profit. Before deciding the output, we should know the meaning of market and then the meaning of perfect competition market. Only then we will be able to discuss this chapter. In common sense, market means a place or an area where buyers and sellers generally gather in order to buy and sell a particular commodity. But in economics, a market is defined differently. In economics, by a market, we don't mean only stores where buyers and sellers meet. Rather, any effective arrangement for bringing buyers and sellers into contact with one another is defined as a market in economics. Buyer is a person who demands a particular commodity and sellers are those who supply that commodity. In economics, market means whole of the network in which buyers and sellers of a commodity keep in close touch with one another. A market need not be formal or it need not be held in a particular place. Like second-hand cars are often bought and sold through newspaper advertisements. In this way, even such advertisement may be said to constitute a market. One more important fact about market is that sentimental values mean little in the market. The essential elements of a market are: number 1, there should be at least two parties, that is buyers and sellers, because alone buyer or alone seller cannot constitute a market. However, the number of buyers and sellers may be large or it may be small depending upon many factors. Second essential of market is that subject matter of market must be product or service. There may or may not be bargaining for a price. It is assumed that both buyers and sellers have knowledge about market conditions. Fifth essential element of market is price. Price for a product or service at a given time is given. Actually, market is affected by many factors such as means of transportation and communication, affected by a stable currency and sound banking system, affected by government policy as tax or subsidy, affected by peace and security, affected by the methods of sales adopted by the sellers. Market is affected by adequacy of supply, market is affected by adequacy of demand and much more. Now, this market may be divided into different categories on different bases. For example, we will define the market on the basis of area, on the basis of time, on the basis of competition. Market may also be categorized on the basis of nature of transactions. It may be categorized on the basis of regulation. It may be categorized on the basis of volume of business and also on the basis of functions also. Let's understand all these types of market. First, market on the basis of geographical area. Students, on the basis of area, market is of 4 types: local markets, regional markets, national markets and international markets. Local market is for perishable goods like milk, fruits, vegetables, flowers, and it is also for bulky articles like sand, bricks, stones, etc. Whereas regional market is for semi-durable goods, In contrast, national market is for durable goods and for industrial items, and international market is for precious commodities like gold and silver. Market on the basis of time. According to Professor Alfred Marshall, on the basis of time, market is divided into 4 categories: very short period market, short period market, long period market, and very long period market. In very short period market, supply cannot be increased even by a single unit. Means in very short period market, elasticity of supply is perfectly inelastic, and it happens in the case of perishable commodities. Whereas in short period market, we can increase the supply. Producer can increase the supply, but by increasing only and only the variable factors, keeping the other factors constant. If you remember, we did in production chapter, there were 2 periods, short run and long run. In short run, supply could be increased only by increasing variable factors, keeping other factors fixed. So, same is the case with short run market or short period market. In long period market, supply can be increased by varying all the factors of production, means in long run period market, no factor is keeping fixed. In very long period market, in this period, movement in certain factors are recorded. These factors may be population growth, capital supply, supply of raw materials, etc. Thirdly, on the basis of competition, market is of 2 types: perfect competition and imperfect competition. We will discuss these 2 types of markets in detail later on. Fourthly, on the basis of nature of transactions, market is of 2 types: spot market and future market. Basically, in the spot market, goods are physically transacted on the spot, whereas under the future market, those transactions are involved in which contracts are made of a future date. Next, market is on the basis of regulation. On the basis of regulation also, market is of 2 types: regulated market and unregulated market. Under regulated market, transactions are legally regulated so that any firm may not charge unfair or excessive price. Example, stock exchange. On the basis of volume, market is categorized as retail market and wholesale market. Volume means quantity. Retail market means where goods are purchased and sold in small quantities, whereas in wholesale market, bulk purchases and bulk sales are made. Last, on the basis of functions also, market is of 2 types. First, mixed or general market, and second, specialized or specific market. Have you ever went to mall, super bazaar, easy day? When different commodities are available in a single market like super bazaar, easy day, it is called mixed or general market, where all the commodities can be purchased at a same place. But when a particular commodity is bought and sold in a particular market, like in Anaj Mandi, only Anaj can be sold and purchased. In Dal Mandi, only Dal can be sold and purchased. In Sabji Mandi, only vegetables are transacted. So, these are called specialized markets. These were the classification of market on different bases. Now, before discussing any other aspect of market, it is important to know the concept of revenue. Revenue may be total revenue, average revenue and marginal revenue. The concept of revenue is applicable in each and every form of market, whether it is wholesale market, retail market, short period market, long period market or whatever it may be. So, now the concepts of revenue. Most of the time, students are confused between profits and revenue. They understand that profits and revenue are the same two concepts. Is it so? No. Profits and revenue are two different concepts because profits of a firm are calculated by the difference between total revenue and total cost, whereas revenue means gross receipt of the firm by selling total units. We are considering here three cases. Case 1. If total revenue is greater than total cost, it means the firm is earning total profit. Case 2. If total revenue is less than total cost, it means the firm is incurring total loss. And case 3. If total revenue of the firm is equal to its total cost, it means firm is neither earning profit nor incurring loss. It means it is at its break-even point. Break-even point is a point where there is no profit and no loss. The amount that a firm gets from the sale of goods and services is called revenue. Now, we will consider total revenue, average revenue and marginal revenue. Total revenue refers to the total amount of money that a firm receives from the sale of its products, that is, total revenue is gross revenue. It depends upon a firm's total sale. Total revenue is equal to the unit sold multiplied by the per unit selling price of the commodity. It may be written as TR equals to Q into P, where TR stands for total revenue, Q stands for the quantity sold and P stands for the price per unit. Let us take an example for calculating total revenue. If a firm sells 10 units for rupees 5 each, then the total amount which it will receive is 10 units into rupees 5 equals to 50. This rupees 50 is nothing but the total revenue of the firm. Now, the concept of average revenue. Average means per unit. Average revenue is the amount of revenue per unit sold. Average revenue is total revenue divided by the number of units sold so as to give revenue per unit sold. It is nothing but price of 1 unit of output, which we can prove as under. Formula of average revenue is that average revenue is equals to total revenue upon quantity. AR stands for average revenue, TR stands for total revenue and Q stands for quantity sold. Can we write it as average revenue equals to price into quantity upon quantity? Students, I have done nothing. In place of total revenue, I have written as price into quantity. Now, quantity in numerator and quantity in denominator will be cancelled and average revenue will be equal to price. Hence, it is proved that average revenue is equal to the price of the commodity. Let us take the above example. In the above example, total revenue is rupees 50 and quantity sold is 10 units. So, average revenue equals to total revenue upon quantity means average revenue equals to 50 rupees, which is total revenue, upon 10, which is units, and 50 by 10 equals to 5 means average revenue is rupees 5 and which is nothing but the price. Now, the concept of marginal revenue. Marginal means additional. Marginal revenue is the change in total revenue resulting from a unit change in the output sold. In simple words, we can say that marginal revenue is the revenue which would be earned from selling one extra unit of a firm's product. Sometimes marginal revenue is also known as incremental revenue. Incremental means additional. It is the change in a firm's total revenue resulting from the sale by one additional unit. Algebraically, marginal revenue is the addition to total revenue earned by selling n units of product means total units of product instead of n minus 1 units. where n is any given number. We can write marginal revenue in the form of formula as follows. Marginal revenue at nth unit equals to total revenue of n units minus total revenue of n minus 1 units, or it can be written as marginal revenue equals to difference in total revenue upon difference in quantity, or delta total revenue upon delta quantity. We know that delta denotes what? Difference. If in the above example, total revenue at 10 units is rupees 50 and total revenue at 11 units is rupees 55, then marginal revenue by using the formula will be, in place of total revenue of n units we will write 55, and in place of total revenue of n minus 1 units we will write 50, and 55 minus 50 equals to 5. Let us take a question in which you have to calculate all the three: total revenue, average revenue and marginal revenue. The given information is that the market price of good per unit is rupees 10. Market price means selling price of good is rupees 10 per unit. Now fill the given table. We have 4 columns in this table. Column 1 is for quantity sold. Column 2 is for total revenue. Total revenue equals to quantity sold into price per unit. Third column is for average revenue. Average revenue equals to total revenue upon quantity. And fourth column is for marginal revenue. Marginal revenue equals to difference in total revenue upon difference in quantity. Students, remember, selling price per unit is rupees 10. Now fill the table. What will be the total revenue when 0 units are sold? Obviously, when no unit is sold, total revenue will also be 0. It means at quantity sold 0, total revenue is also 0. At unit 1, total revenue will be 1 into 10, quantity into price. At unit 2, total revenue will be 20, unit 2 into price 10, as well as at quantity 3, total revenue will be 30, at 4 it will be 40, at unit 5 it will be 50, and at unit 6 total revenue will be 60. So our total revenue is 0, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 and 60. Now what about average revenue? We can calculate it by using total revenue upon quantity. But we have proved earlier that average revenue is always equal to price, and price here is given rupees 10. So at all the places we can write average revenue equals to 10 rupees. At all places, but not at 0 units sold, because when no units are sold, average cannot be 0 at that place. Now marginal revenue. Marginal revenue is difference in total revenue upon difference in quantity. In this table, difference in total revenue at each and every place is of 10 rupees, 0, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. And difference in quantity at each place is of 1 unit, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So if we will calculate marginal revenue by using difference in total revenue upon difference in quantity, our answer will be 10 upon 1 equals to 10. But not at 0 unit. 0 unit marginal revenue will be dash. From this table, we can analyze that as units sold increases, the total revenue also increases. Average revenue is equal to price at each level of quantity sold, because average revenue is per unit revenue, and per unit revenue will always be equal to price. And we saw, if price is constant at each unit sold, then marginal revenue will also be equal to price, because marginal revenue means additional revenue on selling an additional unit. When every unit is being sold at fixed price of rupees 10, then in that case every unit will yield an additional revenue which is equal to the price, that is rupees 10. This was the case when market price was constant at each unit sold. Let us take one another example. where price changes as the number of units sold. In this table, we have 5 columns, while in earlier table we had only 4 columns. Here one column is additional for price because as units sold are increasing, price per unit is decreasing. Units sold are from 0 to 6 and price at 0 unit is rupees 10, at 1 unit it is 9.5, at 2 units it is 9. In the same way as units are increasing, price is decreasing. Now students, you have to calculate total revenue, average revenue and marginal revenue by using the same concept and same formula. After filling this table, your analysis would be same, means total revenue will be increased with the increase in units sold. Second analysis, that average revenue is always equal to price, also holds true. In case of marginal revenue, we can see that here marginal revenue is declining, while in the former table it was constant at rupees 10. The reason being it is additional revenue per unit sold. In the former table, we were charging constant price at each unit, therefore it was constant. But in the present case, for selling every additional unit, we are decreasing our price, therefore marginal revenue is also being diminished. So students, we will keep our lecture till here today. Let's revise what we have done till now. We started our chapter with the meaning of term market. Market is a place where at least two parties, that is seller and buyer, transact with each other in order to exchange goods and services for a price, and this price may be bargained or not. Then we discussed different types of market. Our next topic was revenue. It may be total, average or marginal revenue. Total revenue means total receipts of seller by selling total units. Average revenue is always equal to price, and marginal revenue means extra revenue by selling one additional unit. This all was for today. In our next lecture, we will do much more topics of market and perfect competition market. Till then, thanks.